I don't know what to say. Like I feel like I'm living in clown world, and every single day I cover stories from this government. I read these stories, guys, before I make the videos, and I just I sometimes just put my head in my hands, and I'm like, what are we doing, right? This just We're now at a point where so many ministers and ANC cadres are known criminals that the ANC is finding it difficult to field boards, right? That's supposed to run things like Transnet without everyone just looking at all those names and going, wait, like all of these are criminals, known criminals, because they're involved in so much corruption. Okay, so the story today, right, is alarm bells over cabinet's dubious transport board picks, which were then quietly deleted. And for this, we'll just quickly go through it, right? The appointment of the inaugural board of the new Transport Economic Regulator has caused alarm in business circles, as several people who, with no evident transport experience, and others with questions over their reputation have been included. Among them is a former Transnet executive during the state capture period who was suspended and then given a golden handshake. This is this man over here, Rave Nair, who was the CEO of Transnet's freight rail from 2015 to 2019. He was involved in so much corruption and so much state capture. He even appointed the sister, I believe, of Malusi Gagaba to a position within Transnet. Basically, all you need to know here, right? Because they go through the entire list here of all of the very, very weird people that have been appointed in this new board. But then what's very, very interesting is after all of these people come out, right? And I'll just quickly read through this so you guys get an idea of what we're dealing with, right? You have one who's an accountant who runs a consultancy, but the consultancy firm has no website. The person in question has no website. No one knows anything about this person, but the person also manages to be a director of the SA Weather Service somehow, right? No one knows how that happens. Then you have a manager turned consultant who was recently on the board of Boxing SA, but was fired from his time at the National Film and Video Foundation because he just spent a lot of money that he wasn't allowed to spend. That's the kind of people that's all making these lists that they're now going to serve on the board. Now, the board is super important, by the way, because the board will set things like tariffs, they'll set things like subsidies, they'll basically decide where most of the money goes. And Transnet is hyper important. One of the main reasons why goods are so incredibly expensive here in South Africa is because we move most of our goods by road, which is very, very expensive. Because if you think about a truck may be able to move 20 to 30 tons of goods, right? A train will move hundreds of tons of goods, which just makes it a hell of a lot cheaper. Yes, it's slightly slower than a truck, but it's a lot cheaper in the long run. The fact is, our trains and our tracks and our railroads are so incredibly tired and broken down that there's just no point in even trying. In fact, we just found out last week that Maersk, one of the largest shipping companies in the world, actually the largest shipping company, is canceling direct routes between us and America. And one of the reasons they actually quoted as saying is the current state of Transnet. It's the state of the harbors and it's the state of the railroads. It takes too long to get goods from the harbors inland and from inland to the harbors because they have to wait for trucks to load these things on. You can't just take these massive containers and prop them onto a train and off you go. No, you have to get it onto trucks, which just slows down the entire process. If anything, this is probably one of the biggest bottlenecks to our economy. And what does the ANC do? What does Minister Creasy do in her infinite wisdom? She appoints a board of people that are all of them corrupt beyond belief. And those who are not corrupt are only not corrupt because no one knows anything about them. This is the first time that they've ever worked in government, very specifically in railroads or Transnet or anything related to that. So they're new cadres that is only now dipping their toes into the fiefdom that is the ANC government. And what is sad about this is you just realize the ANC has no answer, right? This was supposed to be, by the way, Ramaphosa's big bullet. He actually said, look at this, establishing the TER is one of the most important reforms of President Ramaphosa's economic reform program. This is one of the things he said he will do in order to fix transport and rail in South Africa. And this board is filled with a bunch of criminals, which is funny in a way because you just go, oh, the ANC has so many criminals now working in the ANC's sphere of influence. And so many of these criminals have already been caught being criminals that the ANC doesn't have the ability to even get 6 unknown criminals into a board, right? They have to pick people and go, has it been long enough? Will the public remember that this guy was a big thief? Nah, it's 6 years ago. People will forget already. And then what happens is they post this list. Immediately, people go, wait, what? What do you mean this is the list? And they remove it. Just silently go, don't know what you're talking about. There's no list. What do you mean? Right? No, they didn't actually pretend like there was no list. They pretended like the list was posted, but the list actually has to go back to cabinet because there's a couple of names that cabinet wants to negotiate and deliberate over. So effectively, what happened was they posted this list. They thought nothing would come of it. As soon as they saw people sort of going, "Wait, hold on, this is a bunch of criminals," they went, "No, never mind. We're not. This is actually not the list. We've got a new list. We'll go look for the cadres that have not yet been caught thieving and stealing in South Africa." It's a sad state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen. But this is sadly where we are in this country. If you like what I do, if you like the content that I make, please consider hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and leaving me a comment, because not only does it help the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see the content and more people can be informed, but I also love reading what you guys have to say about the state of South Africa, the state of our economy. Then if you really enjoy what I do and you want to support me a little bit more directly, you can become a patron where you get full access to all of my videos without any ads for as little as $3 a month. The link to that is in the description down below. Or you can just hit the join button below this video, become a member, and you support the channel that way. Any and all support is very much appreciated, but it is in no way, shape, or form mandatory. All of my videos are always free for everyone to watch, and I just appreciate you guys being here. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this channel amazing, making my content so good, and enjoying what I do. As always, be good to each other, be kind to each other, and I'll see all of you in the next one. A peace.